Hi guys, it's me again, here bringing in the new year with a new video and some new updates about the channel. In the background here we have a little bit of Tomb Raider, The Last Revelation, as just sort of a background while I kind of talk a little bit about what's going to happen to the channel and what I'm thinking about doing going forward. So as many of you know, this is not the most active channel in the world. In fact, you could say it's probably one of the least active. I think I've got, 5 videos over the course of almost 2 years. But I'm going to try to remedy that a little bit more this year. I've been gifted a lot of recording equipment, a brand new mic, and some new toys to play with. And while I have no intentions, my apologies, in making this any kind of business, it's always going to be a hobby to me. But I figured I got the stuff, I might as well use it. So if anyone has, by chance, seen some of the videos I've done before in the past, they've all been this cliche, let's play style of video. Nothing exciting, nothing new there. So rather than just do that, I figured I'd at least make myself a little bit more unique by focusing on somewhat more classical games. Specifically, stuff from, the PS2 era and before. I might occasionally do a more modern game, especially like with group games, if I have buddies over and friends. Might do some recordings with that and making videos, but for the most part, I think I'm going to focus in on games from an earlier generation, just because my computer, with its limited hardware capabilities right now, will have a much easier time recording older games while doing commentary and live feedback at the same time. Which is why we have some footage here of Tomb Raider, The Last Revelation. In addition to doing some of these more classic-based games, I hate that word, I was also going to focus on maybe some titles that haven't already been Let's Played to death or talked about to death on YouTube. I know there's not very many titles that fit that category, but I'm going to try to find some. This doesn't mean I'm going to do like shitty games or just licensed games, although probably will do a few of those over the years in time. I am, at the very least, going to try to focus it on titles that I like, that I think are good and are fun to play, that maybe other people really haven't given a whole lot of thought to. One of those titles being Tomb Raider, The Last Revelation. Although, don't take this video as the beginning of a Let's Play series or anything like that. If, I do come back to a game like this, I will do it proper with, live commentary as I'm playing, as opposed to this weird director's commentary that you're hearing right now. But Tomb Raider, The Last Revelation acts as a good example of maybe the kinds of games that I'm thinking about talking about and doing videos of. Because while we all know Tomb Raider, I don't know how many people know about the 4th game in the franchise. The 4th or 5th. Chronicles fits in there somewhere. I apologize if I'm getting them out of order, but I feel like Last Revelation is the 4th one. So that's the plan for the future going forward this year. Again, this is not going to be a huge thing. I'm not going to be doing videos super regularly. I might record 2 hours worth at a time and then slowly bleed those out over the course of a video or two a week. So if anyone's expecting this channel to explode and suddenly become a new YouTube phenomenon, I'm no Ryan Porter. So, it's just not going to happen. And I apologize for that. But we will have some fun. Without further ado, going forward now, I'll just give a little bit of commentary on what you're seeing on the screen here, what I think of Tomb Raider, and, let's just have some fun. So here we are. This is the beginning of the first level here, just a few minutes in. I'm being chased by a warthog, some kind of pig enemy. Not too sure. It's got tusks and it looks mean. So at this point, I was having a lot of trouble getting the AI to kill him for me. And so I eventually just sort of ran off into a different part of the level when he killed them off. And now here I am just kind of running backwards into the shadows. I apologize for any moments where my voice just kind of dips off. I'm doing that on purpose. If I don't have anything to say, I'm not going to spend the time saying it to you guys. Now, one thing I had forgotten about this game is just how many tutorial messages the game force feeds down your throat in this first level here. Your little mentor there, anytime there's a new jump or a new activity, he halts the progression to a complete standstill and tries to tell you the most basic aspects of controls of the game.
This gap is wider,
and I do not like this. The earlier titles, Tomb Raiders 1 through 3, all put the tutorial mission inside of Lara Croft's house. And if you wanted to learn how to play, that's where you would go, and the game would teach it to you in a safe gymnasium kind of area. And you also got to explore Lara Croft's house and find secrets and stuff like that. So it was actually a cool little side level that you could toy around with. Here, we don't really have that. The first level becomes the tutorial for you, and it constantly interrupts the flow of the game. So like for here, you got the jump coming up. He tries to stop you, tells you how to jump, tells you how to walk up to the ledge and trigger the jump. And it just is really obnoxious. And it's just constant. Coming up here, when we get over to that ledge on the other side, he's again going to stop you before you get to it. And then he'll stop you again on trying to tell you how to actually climb across, and it just interrupts the flow, and it's not very effective. But I guess, to give credit, I don't know how else you would really teach a player how to do some of these mechanics, because this game has a lot of control nuances, way more than some of the earlier titles did. It's actually impressive in a way how complex the controls are for such a simple, old PlayStation 1 game. Speaking of which, this is not actually a PlayStation 1 copy of the game, or even a console version at all. We're actually recording the Steam version of the game that I picked up in a Steam sale quite a long time ago. I think I got it with the rest of the Tomb Raider franchise up into the most recent reboot. And with it comes some perks and disadvantages. Obviously, one of the big perks is just the texture quality. Everything looks a little crisper. The edges aren't blurry or jagged or anything. Obviously, it's still super polygony, but at least it's cleaned up. The biggest disadvantage, though, is all the FMVs just look like total trash, to the point where I had to completely cut them out of the recording. They just looked so bad. They didn't record well. They were glitchy as hell. And it just wasn't working, so I cut those out and just kind of plopped this in right at the start of the level. And I don't know what I'm going to do if I ever do a Let's Play of a game like this. I'll probably have to hunt down an actual console copy, because just the FMVs sort of act as your anchors for every level, and if they always look like crap, either have to cut them out of the Steam version, or somehow shoehorn them in from one of the console versions, which sounds like a lot more work than it's actually worth. So here again, you can just see the amount of tutorials that interrupts you. And one thing that's funny here is, so the tutorial tells you about swimming and how maybe you'll find secrets and things underneath the water. And I dive down and I immediately find a secret. But when I come up to the surface here, he just starts mouthing off about how you didn't have any luck the first time you went down below. And it's like, dude, I found a golden skull. You found shit. I also like, too, you can see from the water fountain coming out of that statue's mouth that the water texture looks like completely different from the rest of the water. It's moving faster and it's a different color. Kind of a funny little graphical glitch. One thing I will say about the controls, though, is that at least underwater, everything works. I won't say that they're super efficient controls or that they work incredibly well, but if you plan your movements and do things in advance, they get the job done. And it does often feel like, if you die, it's because you messed up something, not necessarily because the controls are bad. And when you have clunky tank controls like in these old Tomb Raider games. It's impressive that, you know, at least a relative veteran like me can feel that way about the controls. Another thing I'll praise is sort of just the level design and the exploration of these games as a whole. You know, at this point, some things have been repeated ad nauseum, but on a whole, you know, there's not very many action-adventure games that really do this level of puzzle and exploration that the Tomb Raider games did from this time period. And honestly, a lot of games today, ones that proclaim themselves as like action-adventure exploration games, really don't create the same feeling as you get in this old Tomb Raider style game. I really don't know how to put it into eloquent words. It's just there's something about Tomb Raider, and specifically these classic Tomb Raiders, that just kind of tickles the nostalgia in me, and just some kind of joy that comes from exploring these missions. And here again, we have the tutorial interrupting you. So I save, and then he stops you. And then when you get to the objective, he stops you again and teaches you how to do the very thing that he just told you how to do. So that's two separate interruptions and two separate cutscenes that could have easily been consolidated into one slightly longer dialogue. So I really don't know what was going on here when they made these decisions about the tutorials here.
There will be another lever up there. Pull it, then get back down here quickly. The quest is nearly at an end.
So around the 12-minute mark here, we're going to be starting to wrap things up, at least for this section, and I come down the ladder. Ever so slowly. And up the stairs, around the corner.
Swiftly across the vines now.
And here, I predicted that a tutorial was going to pop up again. So rather than letting it trigger, I tried to preempt it by climbing ahead as soon as I saw the railing on the roof. And kind of funny, I don't know if this was something I was supposed to do or not, because he kind of travels right through you by outrunning you. And I don't remember for sure, but my guess is he probably crosses first and then tells you how to cross after him. But I was able to hopefully bypass that by doing this. But then again, maybe there is no cutscene and you're just supposed to figure it out for yourself. But I doubt that based on how the rest of the level holds your hand so much. So coming up into this open area again, we have a similar situation. The enemies chase you, but you have no means of defending yourself. So you just have to kind of run around in circles as this warthog sort of chases you around. And much to my chagrin, a second warthog appears, and now I'm being chased by two of them, and the AI of my partner is just really not doing his job. So rather than deal with that, I give up and I go to the other side of the level to sort of explore it. And that'll pretty much about do it for this section. I'll see you guys in part 2 after I get this med pack.